Michael, you talked about how sometimes we may not be as candid with our employees as we should be, and I guess, you know, as we're casting aspersion around, I think there is a responsibility on the part of the managers to let people know that this is what is rewarded in a particular firm and how you stack up against that. And do you have any particular things that you're doing to provide that feedback now as you retool?
Well, at some levels, I mean, candor is not a comfortable thing, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it either, but we try to be very open and candid on all levels. We're a very open book organization. I give a presentation every quarter to all of our staff on our financial performance, and there's no sugarcoating, there's no secrets. I mean, it's financial metrics, it's revenues, it's profits. I mean, I use it as an opportunity to educate our entire staff on where we're being successful and where we're not, and that's a pretty uncomfortable conversation when you get up in front of a group of people with your PowerPoint and show them that you lost money that quarter. And when we were in the recession, I continued to do that quarter after quarter. When it came time to do layoffs, though, there was no secret that why it needed to be done. Everybody was in the loop. It didn't make anybody happy, but there was, I mean, I had people I let go who told me, you know, I'm sad to go, but I understand why you have to do this. I mean, somebody I'm laying off telling me that, you know, so you can't be candid on a selective basis. I think you got to be candid in every aspect of your business.
Marsha?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting. We, and I sound like I'm going back to the generational thing again, but there are some differences that are really important. I grew up in a generation where guys competed a lot. Girls didn't have so much opportunity to do that, but I would say overall, we tend to be very competitive. You know, I know that came in me a little bit later in life, but you know, I'm very, very competitive in a lot of ways. Really?
Really?
I was waiting for you to say that.
How many of you
Robert.
are shocked by this revelation on Marsha's team? Pat is shocked.
Pat is shocked.
Yes.
Well, maybe you know, maybe that will motivate all of us a little bit. But as I look around, and you know, again, I had my children later in life, and I look, you know, we now have a lot of people in our workforce who are the everybody gets a trophy generation. You barely show up and you get a trophy, and that's really impacting expectations even in the workplace. Mm-hmm. And so managing that expectation and making it clear that, you know, we love you just because you're here, but if we're all going to succeed, that's not enough. And you have to really be willing to say that. And you know, I learned a lot of lessons along the way. You know, I used to think it was a great idea when I was doing performance reviews to take somebody out to lunch and have a nice conversation. It's a little more relaxed, a little bit less intimidating. But then I thought, you know, there are times I have to say really tough things to them. And I don't want them crying in the middle of the restaurant, because those guys get really embarrassed when they do that. So, you know, we had to get a little more formal about it.
I will have to say, I think that things have changed in my tenure in city government, which is pretty long, from what it used to be to what it is now. And I think I'd like to borrow a page out of our keynote speaker, though, the first time, is our job is to help make our employees succeed. You know, I don't want to think, I don't start off going, I need to get rid of this person. One of the steps I got to go through is I need this person to be a valuable and effective person of the team. So it's always, you know, you don't want to lose whatever you've gained. You've had a 5 or 10-year employee, and they've done good things during that time. You just want their performance to improve. And I find that really two things happen when you say, here's what you've been doing, here's what I want you to do. You either get improvement, or the person decides that some other place would be more comfortable to work. But you have got to go. It is one of the most difficult things for us to do, because as we all know, an extroverted engineer is the one that's talking at the other person's shoes and not their own, right? And so it's very difficult for us to do this confrontational. A lot of us don't like the confrontational, and it depends on how you do it. But I've found that most people said, oh, you mean You didn't like me doing these things that were not productive and sowing discord and disharmony throughout the organization. Well, I'll stop doing that. But I needed to know that, so that communication is key. And most people, you would say, this is now how I would like you to conduct, and these are the things, these are the formulas for success. This is how you provide value to the organization. And they either start doing it or they don't. And when they don't, then it ultimately culminates in, I think you would be more happy somewhere else, or they make that decision on their own. And sometimes, that's not because, it's never because they're a bad person. There are better fits. I think we were talking about, Marsha was talking about, you know, you need, not only are we looking for people that fit in our organizations, the people that are coming into the organizations need to understand that they're going to fit there too, because it's part of the chemistry. And sometimes people who are not successful in one organization or one section or division become outstanding employees in the other. None of this is talking about the inherent worth of an individual. Well, all of it's talking about how do you fit in? How do you tailor yourself to fit in? And sometimes you've got to make the decision that I fit in somewhere else better. Okay.